is Giant Trader, and this is the last call of the day and of the week here. Been a really good trading day. Now looking at all the indexes are pretty much green except for the old Dow. But a lot of really good trades going on there today. Okay, so we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin. We'll take a look here at that Ethereum ETF, ETHU. We'll look at gold, and we'll look at silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look here at the old indexes. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are quoted for crude and natural gas along with the Baker Hughes red count. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation by science. Talk about ETF. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Here we have Bitcoin daily and weekly chart. Now, before we get started, I'm going to be out of the office on Monday, but I will have a video for you on Sunday night, and I'll have one for you Monday morning. It'll be a little bit later, but we'll get you started for today. Then I'll be back on Tuesday, and then we're going to, resume as usual. Okay, here we have Bitcoin. All right, now as you can see here, Bitcoin looking very nice. Now I'm long the BITX, and I'm also trading the BITX. Now remember, if you're in by the 25th, they're having to pay their dividend, which is going to be 62 cents a share, and they pay this monthly. Okay, so it comes up to about 14% a year on the dividend. Okay, so I got 3,000 shares going forward as of right now, and then I'm also trading 3,000 shares. So actually, it's working out very nice. But I want to try to build that position up to 5,000 shares, so you can get yourself a really nice, sweet dividend. Okay, so just so long, if you're in by the 25th, they pay it by the 28th. Now you can also go. It doesn't pay a dividend, but IBIT is a 1-to-1 ratio owned by BlackRock. That's also another great trading tool for Bitcoin. Okay, here we go. Now you can see here how right now we're above this key 50-day, and that's going to be that is the key right there, 115,436. Now you can see here how we had this downtrending. We had this double top. Then we had this downtrending situation. But now look at here what we put in there. We put that series of higher highs in there and higher lows. That's always very bullish. And now once we got above that 8-day, 21-day, yesterday we're kind of like ping pong action, but today we're clearly above. So that's going to be key on a closing basis today. We want to hold 115,436. If we lose that, we're going to come to that 21-day, 113,449, and then we have that 8-day, 113,204. Now, when those futures open Sunday night at 6 o'clock, watch this 8-day, because this 8-day is definitely going to cross over that 21-day, and that's going to provide very nice support here for the old Bitcoin. Okay, now upside, what we're watching so far, we got today, we got that 116, 820 level. Your next target is going to be right here, is going to be at the top of that candle, 117,315. Then we're going to come right to the top there at 117,640. All right. Now we keep rolling up. You got 118,350. We have 119,810. We come up here, 127,55. Always look to the left. This was that high of this consolidation. That was 121,255. Then we have sticky here at 122,955. And then we look to the left, 123,615. And then we come just a little bit above that, 123,755. But this is your big retest. Now we crack above that 125,200. Plan on 130, 135, and you're going to work yourself up to that 150 area easy. Okay, so just, always get prepared. However, if it does get up to this area, don't look at it for saying, oh, this is going to break out, this is going to go right to 130. You don't know that yet. Okay, what you do is you got to just watch it, look for the past. Okay, where we had this high, it rallied up, but you notice it couldn't hold that high, and then she came right on down. So you always want to watch the reaction. That's only if you close above 125,200, then she's going to go higher. If not, you could double top, and you could have the same situation that we have here. So, okay, so always watch these charts, okay? Now, downside, you want to hold that 50-day. Very key, that 21-day, obviously, and then we have that 8-day. Now, again, we start losing that, then all you do is follow these candles down, 111,230 level. We come down to 111,15. We'll come down here to 110,480 level. We come down to 109,720. But you're right here, 109,550, your 100-day is going to be very crucial. Then we have a retest right there at that price channel at 107,790. Now, we look at this RSI. See how we had that negative divergence? We had that double top. See, that's two red flags that tell you that's going to be going lower. So always pay attention to that RSI. This just does not just measure, relative strength. It also can give you those divergences, whether like in this case is negative or a positive divergence. All right. So MACD also very great indicator. You can see when that green crossed over your red, that shows momentum of downside, and that's what we have. Now you can see where that green crossed over your red, and now look what we have. Okay. Very nicely. The key is holding that 50-day. That's going to be very crucial, and that 21-day and that 8-day on a closing basis. If not, all we do is follow these candles up, and we find until until it stops. Now, nothing goes straight up, okay? And you really don't want it to go straight up. If you can just kind of like gradually go on up, that would be awesome, and maybe get that retest there of 125, 200. Now, here we have the old weekly. Always watch that weekly chart. Here we go, okay? So we had this candle, so we had a possible bear flag situation. Now that is negated because we are over the top of this candle at 113,800. All right. So we're holding this 21-day very, very nicely. Now we're above this 8-day, which is 115,239. That's what we got to hold on a closing basis. You can look at this chart. Even if this chart came all the way down and the price came all the way down to 50-day, this is still a very, very bullish chart. Okay. Bottom left, upper right, and look how nice this is holding that 50-day. Now the 21-day. Now we get back up the 8-day. Now we take that bad boy higher. Now, here we have, you only got 62. You got plenty of room to run to the upside. The green is below your red, but now that can curl back up here. Then this is what happens. You get that green over your red, and then that's what happened on a weekly chart. So always look at this. It's going to be a little bit slower because this is actually a weekly basis versus the old daily chart. Okay, let's take a look here now at ETHU, ETF, ETHU. All right, here we have ETH, ETF. Now, a lot of people here in the trade room, they trading this. To me, I like the Bitcoin. It took me a long time to get used to trading Bitcoin. I think I've been trading it now for, I don't know, maybe about 4 months or so. I started off with IBIT, then I moved up to the BITX. But, I wanted to have that time to say, kind of understand what Bitcoin is and try to, see where the flow is and everything. So, again, I don't really trade Ethereum, but a lot of traders do. So that's why I bring it up here every day. Okay. So, again, as I can progress, then I might just go into Ethereum. But right now, I trade, the BITX, I trade the IBIT, but I also trade every tech stock, TQQs, what I'm saying, crude oil, natural gas, gasoline. I mean, I have so many trades that you want to limit it. You can't trade everything. So always remember that. Just pick out the best and see what actually works for you. Now, here, Ethereum, good jump up there today. Nicely, gap right on up. So what we're watching on the downside is you want to watch today's low. That's at 165.70. There's your gap. And then we want to watch 153.35. And then we want to watch the top of that candle at 152.65. Okay, so gap, 21-day, and then your fill. And then we come below that, we have that 8-day. Now you can see how nice that 8-day is curling up. We get that across over that 21-day. It's going to send that price much higher. All right, so today we had this high here of 165.70 level. Okay, so when we're down here, I said watch the bottom of that candle, 161.80. Obviously we're above that. Now next level is going to be 167.54. That's going to be next level, and then we're going to come to the top of that candle, 171.40. Then we'll just venture right on 174.97. We'll come up here 175.80, and then we look at old sticky up here at 183.18. And then 186.68, and then we have 188.73. That is going to be your retest. But again, watch what happens when you get up to that area. Okay, so we had a nice run up. It pulled back, held that 21-day, and then we ran up again. But you put that double top situation, then she came on down. So always watch that reaction, because a lot of times, oh man, it gets up here. I'm taking as long as it's going to go to 500, 500. No, it isn't. Okay, that's why you trade the charts. This gives you that double top situation, and then you just wait and see. If you can always get back in it. Don't worry about buying that bottom. Don't worry about selling that top kind of situation. Take that meat in the middle and put it in your pocket. That's what a trader does. Consistent money. Okay, that's the key to trading. So bottom line on the upside, you're just watching this. This is your next level is 165.54. Then that is your next level up there at 171, and then we'll come up to that 174.97. Call it 175 level. That is going to be your next shot. Then you just take the next level, and then see when it gets up to that 188.70. What is the reaction? Okay, does it blast through? Close above? Well, you close above that, then yes, then you're going to start heading right for that 200 mark. Okay, just that simple. Now, here we go. We had this negative divergence, okay? It doesn't look like much, but see, we have a high and just a little bit lower high. See, we have a high and a higher high. You add that up with that double top, okay? And then boom, down she came, right? Now, right here, you're only sitting at 58, plenty of room to run. The green is below your red, but you see how nice it's curling up? So this is looking very, very positive, okay? But again, I never like these gaps in that fill, so always watch that gap, that fill, that 21-day and 8-day on the downside in case it does pull back. All right, here on the weekly, look how nice it's holding that 8-day. See? Look at it. Held down, came down a little bit lower. Doesn't mean nothing as long as you close above it for the week on Friday. Nice. Look at that. Got to a little bit overbought condition, came right on down. Now we can just start rallying right back up. And then the big test is going to be that 188.73. Obviously, you crack above that 188.73, this is going to be your next target right there, okay? 194.88. Then we come on top of that candle, 203. Then we'll come on top of there, 232.91, and then we come there, 246, and then we have all the way up here at that 251. Okay, so we go level to level to level to level, and then we'll just see basically where she stops. Okay, again, that's how you trade and make consistent money. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Here we have gold, here we have silver. Now, here we have the nice gold. This is looking sideways action, but just watch that candle. See that? That's a topping tail, 37.15. And then what you want to do is watch this 37 area, okay? 3,700 area. That's going to be very, very key. Now, today we got as high as 36.95, but you got to get above that 3,700 area. Then we can test that 37.15. Then obviously we go to that next level, 37.25. We work our way up to 37.50 and all the way up to 3,800, possibly 38.20 on the run, okay? But getting to that, we're overbought position, sitting up here, and in the MACD, we're sitting at the top of the situation. So just be a little bit careful, but we do have a nice sideways action. Now, I think next week is going to be a market mover for the commodities because next week, we got the Fed meeting. So, I think they're going to cut a quarter point. The key is not cutting the quarter point. That's pretty much expected. However, okay, you have to read and listen to the language and what he's saying about going past that. Okay, what's going to do the next time to meet, the following month, and then the following month, okay? So that's what you have to look at, okay? It's not just what's going to happen, next week, because I think they're going to do a quarter point, and then they might do another quarter, but again, if that inflation rolls in. Now, CPI, PPI report came in, well, inflation was nowhere near as bad, but we don't know if the companies are still eating this or what the whole situation is, okay? So a lot of sectors, yes, inflation was coming in, but again, let's just see how that shakes out. But again, watch that Fed meeting next week. That's going to be very, very crucial. Now, here on the downside, the 8 day is going to be everything. You need to hold that. We lose that, we come right to the bottom of that candle, 36.51. We come down here to the top of this, 36.40 to the bottom there, 36.21, and just venture down, 35.95. We have 35.73. Always look to the left, 34 level, and then we come right there at that 35.16 level. But that's only if you lose that 8 day. Right now, very, very strong. This can go sideways, and then we can just blast right on up. So upside, watch that 3,700, very, very key, and then watch the breakout at 37.15. Now, silver. Nice trade. Now, I trade GLD for the gold. I'm not really a gold trader, not really a silver trader. However, okay, when we see this action here, I'm in. Okay, and the reason I'm being in is because see how you have a high, and then it lets you get back in again. Okay, then it lets you get back in. And see, you're only carrying half of those candles. Look how nice it is. Then when you have the breakout, then you have to know it. But you got to know when to take this off. When you start getting outside that price channel, they act like Bollinger Bands, but I just think price channels are much more accurate. Okay, you get outside that, it wants to pull back in towards that 8 day. But see, price channels, you got your tops and your bottoms of candles. Makes trading much, much easier. Now, silver, look at here. Look at this. Okay, so we were watching basically that 42 level. Okay, that was very, very key. We hit 41.99. Yeah, did we hit above it? But you notice that you couldn't close above it until today. Okay, now today we're looking very good. 43.04. Your target is going to be this 45 area. Okay, that's going to be it. So we have a nice good rally here. We had negative divergence, but now we're starting to turn right back up again and get to regular good positive strength. The same way here with your MACD. All right, so this is looking very good. On the downside, just watch right there, 42.35. That's going to be very, very key. That would be the retest, and then watch that 41.80. We lose that, we just follow the candles down, okay, 41.33. We come down at that 41.14 level, and then we have a 40.86. We have a 40.55 level, and then we always look to the left here, 39.91, and then we have this 39.97 level, okay? But that's only if you lose that 8 day. Then we can look to the left of the chart, and we can look right down here at that 21 SMA. Right now, this is breaking out. This looks like it wants to go higher. I'm looking for that 45 area. Okay, let's take a look here at crude oil and natural gas. Here we have crude. Here we have natural gas. Now, actually, some really good trading in crude oil in both directions. Okay, I trade UCO for the long, SCO for the short. Okay, so a lot of really, really good trading kind of a situation. Now, I usually trade 5,000 shares. On a Friday, I crack that down to 2,500 to 3,000 shares. Okay, so on Friday, you definitely don't want to try to make any mistake and then go on the weekend and say, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have done that, and then come out revenge trading on Monday. That's not a good look. Okay, that's not a good look for anybody. So don't do that. Okay, so I cut my shares down, and I'm just a little bit more cautious. I don't really care about. I just want to get some money off the crude. I want to get some money off the natural gas. Okay, that's how you want to do it. All right. So now you can see here, we held this key level here to 61.45. We made a low here today of 61.69. Okay. Now you can see how it rallied up, went right through the 8-day. Okay. Went right through the 21-day. Okay. And then we got as high today as 63.98. If you look to the left of the chart here, you had 64.08. That was your resistance before we hit the 100-day here at that 64.41. But could it hold it? Oh, hell no. Look at old Sticky there. Topping tail situation. Okay. So now the key is to the upside. You have to get back above that 8-day, back above that 21-day, back above the top of this candle, 64.08, and then back above that 100-day at 64.41 before you can head to the 50-day at 65.10. Now, be careful, be careful. It's 50-day. Look at here. What happened? Popped up, couldn't hold it. Popped up, couldn't hold it. Kind of a situation. But now that 8-day crossed over that 21-day, and now this does not look good. Now the key is holding this 61.45. That is everything here on the old crude ski. Okay. Now hurricane season has not really developed a whole lot. I think there was only 2 hurricanes so far, and they went to the outside. Okay, if they come inside to where that Gulf is, that's where the key is, because then that you have to shut down the platforms, you got to shut down the ports, and that affects crude oil, natural gas, and gasoline. Boom, that's it. Okay, but it's not doing that so far. You only had 2 hurricane situation, and now the hurricane season isn't that much longer till about the first, second week of October. Okay, so always remember. Now again, we lose this 61.45, then there's your target right there at 61.06. Then we come right here to the bottom of this candle right there. You're looking at 60.02, but right here, 59.74. That's what we're watching. Okay, that is going to be your big target. Next big target is right here, 57.74, and then we come down 57.03, 56.39, and then we have 55.30. Then we come down to 55.12. Now you crack 55.12, it's going to be 53, 50, 47. You go all the way down to 43. Okay, very, very easily. Now, again, the 8-day crossed over. So right now, this is just a trade situation. This isn't the time of year that you really say, hey, I want to go long. I want to do this. This is more of a short ski kind of a situation. Now, again, I went both directions today, long and short, which is very good. Now I'm just watching the 61.45. If we lose that, then I'll pull a full blown short on, and we'll take it down to that 59 level. Okay, just that simple. Now, RSI, this is nowhere near overbought or oversold. The same as this. This can go much, much lower. The key is holding that 61.45 level. Now, natural gas, great trade. Absolute great trade, okay? Because what it did, it came down, kind of faked out a little bit here, went below that 21-day at 2.91, got as low as 2.89. And you say, oh, man, it came down 2.89. What we're watching was right here, this 2.86. It never came down to that situation, okay? So, came down there, held it. Nice, good trade in the UNG today. Really good trading in the UNG. I had 3,000 shares. Boom. Now I'm just kind of waiting. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm just see if that 21-day holds. I'm trying to build a position here into natural gas. Now, you usually trade UNG. I trade 5,000 shares. But what I want to do is build a position because now you're going into winter. Now, all the forecasts coming out here, the Farmer's Almanac, I even watch them squirrels, and everything is telling me that you can have a very, very hard, cold winter kind of a situation. So let's just, if that shakes out, natural gas is not going to stay here down in the 2s. Okay, that's for sure. Natural gas is going to be back up here in the 4s, 5s, whatever kind of a level. Now, if you just take this out a little bit here, look where natural gas is. You can go all the way to that 490 level here very, very easy. Okay, so just always remember that we had this downtrending situation, kind of pulled back from that. Now we're retesting it, okay? But again, if we hold that 21-day, that's going to be the key. But on the upside here, we got as high as 3 flat, okay? 3 flat, nice. So what we're watching is the bottom of that candle. What did we watch? What was it? 3 flat, okay? See that? See how easy it is. Now, top of that, we got to get 303. That's that 8-day, very, very critical. 50-day, very, very critical at 307. Reason being, right into it, back, into it, back, into it, back. One above it, couldn't hold it. Above it, couldn't hold it, and then boom, down. So that 50-day is going to be very, very strong. We get above that, then we come right to the top there, 311. We come up here at 316, and then we have 319. Then we come rally up here to that roughly 329 level, and then we can start hitting that 200-day at 349. Now, you crack that. This is going to be your target area at that 362. Then we bring this bad boy across, 375. We'll come up here at 4, and then we come all the way up here to that 4, roughly 15 level. Okay. Now, not going to go there today, but again, as long as we hold this 21 day, looking good. Now, we lose that 21 day, well, then right here. Okay. 2.86, 2.77 is your gap, 2.74 your fill, 2.65, and then your retest down there at 2.62. Now, you're sitting at 46. That's not overbought or oversold. We're sitting here. The green is still over your red, but notice that we are way on the bottom here, and that can go all the way to the top. So right now, you're coming into the seasonality here of natural gas. Now, last weekend, I did a video just on nothing but seasonality charts. So check it out at your convenience. It's got crude oil, natural gas, gold, and silver. It's got indexes on there, and it gives you a 20-year period. Now, nothing is exactly, is it exactly going to do this? Because no, that's not how it works. But it gives you an overall view. What I'm trying to show you is that any kind of edge that you can have in trading is what you want to do. Okay, that's the key. Now, this weekend, I got a video for you, which will come out on Saturday, and it's all about candlesticks and chart patterns. Okay, so check it out. It's going to be coming out here on Saturday around 5 o'clock, and it should be. I look at it every week just to keep myself nice and fresh. Okay, all right. So let's take a look here now at the indexes. Here we have the indexes. Now we have negative divergence going on all of these. However, she's just doing the old melt up. Okay, so made a nice higher high today on the old Dow. You can see how we're just ratcheting right on up. Okay, so yesterday we made this high of 46,137. Today we did 46.77. Didn't quite make it. We have what to call an inside day. So you're looking at that 46.137. You crack that, you go 46.2, 46.5, 47,000. Okay, so it's gonna you don't really know. You're just kind of like in an uptrending situation. When it ends, you'll know when it ends. Okay, downside, just want to watch that 8 day. We want to watch that 21 day. Okay, we want to watch that key 50 day. That's going to be all on the downs. If we start losing that, yeah, then we come down to the 100 day here, the 200 day. Even I can do the retest going on here at that 43,340. But let's just be patient with it. Right now, we just have ourselves what they call a melt up. All right, S&P. 65.98. Okay, so they're really calling everybody that you want to listen to, all these talking heads. There's only a couple guys I listen to. Tom Lee, I listen to him, and I listen to this guy Einstein. He's on the New York Stock Exchange. He's been around for, I don't know, 100 years. It seems like he looks like little Einstein, but the guy is smart as hell. You know what I mean? Sometimes I always look at something that's proven. But anyway, what they're talking about is you're going to have on the S&P, you're going to look at 6,700 on the S&P, and very well it might get there. We got to see how it's all going to shake out, but eventually this is going to end. So always remember that. Okay, so 65.19, that's your support right there. 64.72, your 50-day 63.85, and we have your retest 63.43 level, which is basically right there. And we come out to the bottom of that candle at that 62.12. Then we have your 100-day here, and then we have your 200 SMA. All right. But again, remember, nothing goes up forever. You've had a really, really good run. When you look at these charts, these are complete V-size guide charts, and it's just going up, on up here, on up, on up, on up. However, as a trader, I love it because I just trade this money in the pocket, trade it money in the pocket, trade it money in the pocket, not just buy and hold until this was the buy and hold. This was the buy and hold. All right. NASDAQ. Yeah, she's got the old melt up going. Okay. 22,169. Okay, so I think they're determined here to take this to at least 22.5, maybe 23,000. We got to see how that shakes out. We got the negative divergence, but again, really, really good trading. There's so much stuff in the Nasdaq. Now, if you want a really nice, good basket to trade, is TQQQs. Okay, I got in there. It got as low as 35. I'm in there from 36. It's sitting at 97. Okay, so you got a triple. Okay, you got basically a triple on the TQQs, and that's a basket of everything. However, I also trade NVIDIA, and I love Amazon, and trade Meta and Microsoft. Not Apple so much, but I do trade the Netflix, the Google, the Palantir, the Tesla. A lot of stuff is just really, really in it. But TQQ has all that right in the old basket. And TQQ up today, you're up 1.6%. You're up to $97. Okay, but it got as low when Trump put the tariffs on. Oh man, everything's gonna go to hell. It got as low as 35. That's the buying opportunity. That's when everything was down here. Okay, so when you look at everything was down here. See this oversold? See this oversold? See this oversold? Okay, that's your buying opportunity. Look at this. Okay, that's your buying opportunity. So I just bought it, and then I just traded also every day until we just run out. Okay, so now what you want to watch on this, on the upside, that can go, 23,000 easy. Okay, so right here, you want to watch on the downside, 21.8. Then we have 21.6, and then we come down to your 50-day, and then we have your retest at 905, and then to the bottom there at 25.60, and then we have your 100-day, and then we have 200 SMA here. Okay, so bottom line, just trade this market. Okay, we don't know when it's going to end. You just don't know, but eventually this here with the negative divergence, it does end. So I always like to put that warning out to you, especially in this time frame. Let's see how it shakes out. All right, that's what I got for you. Now, over the weekend, I'll have a nice a video for you on Saturday at 5 o'clock. It'll be all of you about candlesticks and chart patterns. Check it out. As I say, to me, I look at it every week just to stay fresh. And then I'm going to be out of town on the office there on Monday, but I'll have a video for you Sunday night and Monday morning to get you all started. Have a great weekend. Trade what's in front of you. Now what you want.
Wow.